Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a get ready with me, and I'm going to share a little bit about what's going on in my life while doing a fun makeup look that I wore last night out to dinner. So if that sounds interesting, stay tuned and let's jump right into this video. I have already applied my sunscreen. I'm using my EltaMD UV Elements 41. I forgot what it's called. It's the tinted one. I will put a picture on the screen. To prime my skin, I used my NYX Plump Right Back Primer with Electrolytes. This primer has just been, it's been really good to me lately. What's going on? I haven't really talked about this out loud yet. I've talked to my friends, my family of course, but my mom is having some health issues and I'm gonna go home for a while. For me, this is it's the right thing to do. I mean, it's my mom. If I can help, I'm gonna be there. So I am going home soon and I'm gonna stay home for a while and help take care of her because, you know, my youngest brother is starting back to school soon. My middle brother works with my dad. They work all day. And then my grandparents, they live next door, but they're older and they're still very able-bodied, able to do everything. They're absolutely wonderful and such go-getters. I have the ability to work from anywhere. So now it's time for my primary job, which is to be a son, to pack up everything and go home and be with my mom when she needs me. Oh goodness. Very close with my mom, so I feel like the emotions are like breaking through. For foundation, I am using the Dior AirFlash and I use shade 100. Aerosol foundation, you gotta give it a good shake. You can use AirFlash in several different ways. You can spray it on the face, spray it on your hands, spray it on a sponge. I like to spray it on a brush. This is my only foundation brush I use anymore, really. My BK Beauty number 101. I like to take the excess off on the back of my hand and then start in the center of my face where I need more coverage. My mom told me 2.5 weeks ago what's going on, and with everything, like between a doctor's appointment and then the next doctor's appointment and just my mom not wanting to, I guess, make anyone worry. She didn't give me all the details, talked to my dad, he filled in all those little gaps, and I'm like, sorry mom, I'm ignoring your wishes and I'm coming home because that is what I need to do. And then I told her I was coming home sooner and she's like, that will be good. It will be great to have you home. If you're newer to my channel, you don't know anything about my background, I live in Toronto and I'm originally from the state of Virginia. So I've been here for almost 7 years. And for the most part, I see my family quite often on FaceTime. And then on holidays, when we're not in a pandemic, I'll go home and visit my family, and then we'll do like summer vacations and trips together, or just sometimes just go down for a week or so just to visit. My family is something that is very important to me. And that was like, for me, one of the hardest parts about moving to another country, being this far away from my family, was like the fear, what if something goes on? Luckily, I live in a big city. Getting to an airport is not a problem, but it's just that being far apart is tricky. To be very, very honest, I'm not a very stressed person. I'm not a very high-strung person. I get anxiety like a lot of people do. But for me, I'm very good at managing it on my own. I've got my husband, I've got my friends, I've got a really, really great support network of people I can talk to. Being in a situation now where sometimes it feels like talking isn't enough, I'm seeing things manifest physically that I've not experienced before. So like getting stressed now, like my face, my neck, my chest especially they're getting like red and blotchy, and I'm like, what is going on? I was like, I've had laser treatments, I've got my skincare routine to help with this blotchiness, and now it's just like, stress is here, let's bring the blotchiness out. So thank goodness for lightweight foundations that help to cover things up. Covering up a little bit more, but trying to keep it as thin and lightweight as possible, so that way it doesn't look cakey or masky. And if I'm putting foundation on my neck, I also like to take the residual on my ears, because even when everything is fine, my ears are always quite ruddy. Next thing I did is I used my little Perfect Tip concealer by the brand The SAEM. This is a Korean brand, and I have shade 1.5. So this concealer, I've played with a few times, but I haven't played with it a ton. So I'm finding with this concealer, a little bit goes a long way, and you really want to spread it out. So I'm gonna use my BK Beauty times Angie Hot and Flashy. This is the A506. I use this brush every day and I cannot remember the name. But with this concealer, I like to treat it like most of my concealers, use a little bit and then feather it out. It does look a little yellow as I'm blending it, but I'm gonna go back with my foundation brush, and that residual product will help me smooth it out. And then I guess just to save time, after I apply my eye primer and give it a moment to dry whatever concealer's left, I'm taking on my eyelid as well. And then I'll go back with my foundation brush with whatever residual products on there and then press over to blend out. Then once you add powder, blush, bronzer, highlight, it just all adds, or it all kind of evens itself out. So lately, posting has been a little tricky, because if something is off, or like, you know, something's going on back home that I felt worried about, it's not felt like a good time to sit down and record a makeup video, which is very like happy-go-lucky. It's fun, it's upbeat, it's informative. It's just not felt like the best time to sit and do something like that, because as like my husband or my friends say, I have the worst poker face. I feel like my expressions and like how I'm feeling, everything is very, very transparent. So if I feel a certain way, a lot of people will be like, are you okay? And it's like, yeah, and they're like, but really? And it's like, okay, no, here's how I'm feeling. I wonder how this looks on camera, because I'm seeing it in the mirror behind my camera and I'm like, whoa, that looks yellow. This is a really beautiful formula. It wears really well. This combination of this concealer with the Dior AirFlash foundation, they get shiny throughout the day. Like last night when I wore it, it looked really shiny. Like, we're not dewy, we are kind of greasy looking, but you couldn't see any makeup sitting on the skin. So with a quick powder, that is an easily fixable thing. Now that all of my liquids and creams are on, I am going to take a beauty sponge and just tap over everything just to make sure everything has blended down and pressed into the skin. I've got coverage all over. I don't have a heavy coverage all over. For me, this is good for where I'm feeling at. It's just, I don't want too much makeup, so a little bit is enough for me. For powder, I have been using this Dior Forever Cushion Powder in the shade Fair. I picked this up at the Nordstrom anniversary sale for 2021, and it's a pretty powder. It's fussy to use, and because it's not the easiest product to use, I don't reach for it very often. It's something I really have to think about using. The other day when I was putting together this look, I was like, oh, let's try this. We haven't used it for a while, and it's Dior, it's expensive. I need to use it and not let it sit in a drawer. So I find with this powder, you've got to use the puff. If you try to use the brush, it doesn't pick up very well. And when I pressed it in, I like to press and roll. So it's a very quick motion. And this also has a little bit of a tint, so it will give you a touch of coverage. I would say it would give you like a very sheer to light coverage using this puff, and then kind of doing the press and roll motion. And whatever I have left, I just sweep over my eyes. And over my eyes, I will kind of do a press, drag, pull motion. That way, if any of that concealer has creased over the eye primer, it will help smooth it out a little bit. For highlighter, I use the Clay de Peau Face Luminizer, and this is in shade number 14, which I think is like delicate pink or something like that. And my favorite highlighter brush. This is the e.l.f. highlighting brush. And I just like to mix together all of the shades and just get a nice mix of all of them together. You pick up a ton of product like that. I always like to tap it off and then just buff on the high points. Since I'm bringing some of my recording equipment down, I've been trying to figure out what makeup to pack because I'm going to still be editing videos, so we won't see this space for a little bit. But my parents' house has some really beautiful areas with some really nice natural lighting, so we will be seeing some more natural lighting content and a mix of different scenery, which I think will be fun. I did a video a while back about doing PRP treatments for my hair, and there's things you don't think about, like not everyone knows how they respond to stress. And like the way I'm responding to stress now, other than like getting blotchy, is when I'm shampooing, I'm noticing my hair is shedding a lot more, and that was something that freaked me out. I mean, I did the PRP, I did 4 treatments, I documented it, I shared my experience with it. I'm now in the maintenance phase, and when I'm shampooing, I'm getting like clumps of hair out. So between the PRP sessions, we are doing some laser therapy on the scalp to stimulate the hair, and I did that treatment last week. And I was talking to the doctor at the clinic and I was like, hey, what's going on? And then she asked about stress and things like that. And I shared with her what's going on. And then she's like, you know, everyone responds to stress very, very differently. This is just how your body is handling stress right now. So that was, you know, it is what it is. It's life. And we can't control these things. She told me just to keep on using my at-home laser helmet, take that with me when I go home, and then keep using my topical minoxidil and my topical products to keep things going. And then when my body kind of like calms down, things should go back to normal. It's just, that was something I wasn't expecting because I did those treatments, and I've spent a lot of money trying to address my concerns with my hair thinning. So to see it coming out more, it's like, oh my goodness. This is a trick that I've never thought about before, but when we get upset, when we cry, when we're not sleeping well, our face starts to show it in different ways. And for me, I've been looking very sunken through here, and then out through here has been feeling very, very hollow. So when I buff the highlight on the upper part of my cheek, I'll take it right here to the outer corner of my eye, almost like where the crow's feet are, buffing it right through there to just pump up that area a little bit more. Blush and bronzer, I grabbed for this palette, which I love. I love it. I bought it shortly after it was launched, and I don't think I've ever talked about it on my channel. Maybe once or twice. I know I mentioned it in my blush or bronzer declutter, but this is the blush and bronzer duo from Jaclyn Cosmetics. This is the shade Lilac Love and Top Tan. And this is a really, really fair, it's a slightly warm, but more neutral warm bronzer. So it doesn't pull too yellow, too orange. It's just a very beautiful, sheer Beaute bronzer formula. And I've been working this up a little bit higher, working it back into the hairline and pulling it up to the forehead. This V-neck is like quite low. It's like septum, or not septum, your sternum. I've been taking bronzer on my neck and chest because my body is a lot lighter than my face. Instead of using the point of my brush, I'm gonna use the side of my brush and really swirl into that. It's gonna look quite fluorescent here. I like to keep this in the middle of the cheek and buff, and then almost mimic where I applied my bronzer. It just helps to make it look more realistic, especially with my neck having more like redness in it. Right now, this is going to really help blend those colors together and just feel more realistic. So even when craziness is going on, I still love blush. This is a new to me blush from Chanel. This is called Rose Ecrin number 68. And I'm using my all-time favorite blush brush. This is my IT Cosmetics French Boutique blush brush. This is the number 4 brush. And with this blush, it's a really pretty subtle kind of rosy mauve tone. It does have a little bit of a blue purple iridescence to it. I'm taking this right under my eye, high in the cheek, and then doing almost like a little Nike check back to blend it. And that just pulls a little extra life and juice into the front of the cheek to make everything just look very balanced and very fresh. Something else I've been trying to figure out is, I know the first time I go down, I'll be down for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'm coming home to bring my husband back home because he has to work. So I'm gonna bring him home, and then while I'm here, I'll switch out makeup and grab some more stuff. So trying to figure out what to pack for these first 2 weeks has been kind of tricky. So I have recorded that video, and that should be the video going out after this one. And in that video, you'll be able to see what I've decided to pack, my reasoning why behind it, and if that goes well, you all enjoy that, then every time I come back up here to Toronto to pick him up or drop him off, then I can share with you the different products I pick up and why I'm choosing to take them. And for eyes, I pulled out this palette from the brand Peripera. This is called the Muteful Rose palette. Peripera is a Beauty brand, and this is such a beautiful neutral rosy palette. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know I love neutral rosy shades. So I'm gonna start off with my BK Beauty A501, and I'm gonna use this kind of, it's almost like a mauve taupe shade. Press onto my eyelid, and what I like about this brush, the shadow has enough of a silky creaminess to where if you get some creasing like I am, press your brush at the inner part of your lid, blend over, and it will help to smooth any creasing down. And I just gradually work that up to my brow. And then with this shade, I find I like it best when I do 2 layers. I am learning about myself that the way I process things as I get older is a lot different than how it was when I was younger. When I was younger, and whatever felt like the slightest inconvenience ever would send me into this like frenzy where it's like, I feel bad, let's go shop. I tried that at first. I didn't really get that sense of joy that I used to. So then I was like, okay, I feel like there's so much going on outside of my control. What can I better manage? What can I control in my life just to have like a sense of control, a sense of like, I know what's going on. So YouTube, like creating my channel, staying consistent, doing community posts, that was really, really beneficial and helpful. And being on YouTube is such a happy thing for me. I love posting a video and being able to comment back and forth and chat with all of you, because it's just like chatting with friends, and it's such a fun feeling. I picked up these like planners. In high school, in the US, working full-time, I always loved having like a planner. So I picked up one of the Erin Condren annual planners, and that allowed me to plan everything at an overview. But then I wanted a little bit more structure to my day, because then I was like, oh goodness, it feels like this certain task is taking way too much time. I feel like I should be able to work things into a different thing and have more balance between the work I'm doing, the housework I'm doing, and my life, just to like chill out, spend time with my family, friends, husband. I purchased another like little planner off Amazon, and this one is like a daily, hourly planner. I love that little planner so much, a ochre taupe shade. And I'm gonna use this to start defining my socket line. Now with my eyes feeling a little sunken lately and a little bit more hollow looking, what I've been doing is I've been going above my natural socket, so finding where the eyelid naturally has a shade from the brow bone or the socket area, I'm going above that and sketching in a new shape. And then whatever I have left, I work into the outer corner, overlapping where I applied that highlight. Don't worry, we're gonna bring that highlight back in. With my little hourly planner, I have been planning everything. It started off with planning when I'm gonna go to bed, when I'm waking up. How am I gonna do my morning? Am I going to start the morning off with coffee, responding to comments? Then I'm gonna exercise, take my shower, then I'm gonna get ready for the day, and then I will sit down and do a video. And so far, that has been really wonderful. Now I'm gonna go into this mid-tone mauve shade in the middle of the palette. And I like to mix that with the slightly reddy brown next to it. And with this shade, I'm gonna go right into that natural socket line And I am going to whisk in this outer corner and pull it in to meet where I applied that ochre shade in the inner part. And then get out here and blend. If we look at like this side to this side, I feel like this side just looks like it's bigger and brighter, where this side still feels a little hooded, a little sleepy. When you're feeling stressed, what is something that helps you just to relax and feel more grounded and just kind of like take a little moment, take a break from life? What helps you calm down? I have been loving Pilates, and that has just been the soreness that you get from it. It's like, okay, we did something today, and then just feeling the overall body just feel more kind of relaxed. Like you're sore, you feel that muscular fatigue from your workout, but everything just feels a lot more like we did something. It's time to relax. That has been such a big thing. Second shade of the palette, which is like a kind of peachy rose gold shimmer, and I'm gonna pick that up on my ring finger. And with this, I like to tilt my chin up and use my ring finger just to wash this all over the entire lid, pulling from inner corner to outer corner, and then using my finger to feel where that socket line is, and then bring it right up to there. I do not know how K or Korean beauty companies do it, but the shimmers they put in their palettes are next level. Like these are so micro fine and glittery and reflective, and they give a really beautiful impact, but it never looks chunky, it never looks textured. It is just one of the most pleasant formulas to work with on the eyes. I'm gonna go into this more kind of icy pink shimmer shade. This is a little bit more chunky, nothing crazy though. And I'm gonna push this on the middle of my eyelid to create almost like a spotlight. And then right here on the inner corner. I feel like that just really ties everything together. For eyebrows, I used my Etude drawing eyebrow pencil in shade gray brown. And with a brow pencil, I've just been really enjoying using a brow pencil lately, and I just kind of go backwards to the brow. And then once I kind of got that scribbled in, I'll go back the correct way and brush them up and out. For lips, I have been loving a two-stepped approach. So I picked up this NYX Line Out Loud lip pencil in the shade Fierce Flirt when I was at Ulta last time. And I like this just to run over the lips. And then since that shade is slightly lighter and brighter and cooler than my lips, I have fallen in love all over again with my Westman Atelier Squeaky Clean Lip Balm in the shade Garcon. My lips, but better, more berry bitten. To add a little bit more to the eyes, I'm going to use my Fenty Beauty. This is the Flyliner pencil in the shade Moon Dunes. Then after I scribble that on, I'm going to go back to my A504 and buff that out. And that way I just get like a little something. And if I want to soften out even more, I'll use my finger just to smudge over. Finish off the eyes with my CoverGirl Clump Crusher in the shade Black Brown. And I'm going to add a little bit of brow gel. I didn't do this yesterday, but this is getting so low, I want to finish up. This is the Merit Volumizing Brow Pomade, and I have the shade Blonde. Then I'm just going to knock off any powder that's on my brush, give it a little run through the center of my face. Before I leave the house, after I do lips, I always take a tissue and just blot it down, because that is more my comfort zone. Alrighty, so here is the finished look. At first, it can feel a little powdery, but give it about half an hour to warm up, melt into the skin, let your natural oils come through. You will look a little shiny, like if you're meaning normal to oily. I get a little greasy, especially now here in the summer. Get a little more dewy than is acceptable to be called dewy. But this will just kind of look like real skin. You can't see the texture of the makeup. It smooths out your natural texture, but it does get a little glowy. You can combat that with a setting spray or a little bit of a touch-up powder. I generally don't do that. If I'm being honest, throughout the day, I kind of do my makeup, leave it alone until I get to my car, and I might retouch my lip with like a lip balm or something. But that is the makeup look, and that's a little bit about what's going on right now. So if there are any kind of lapses or I miss a video here and there, I hope you all will be understanding as to why. And the current goal going forward is to have a video going up every Wednesday and Saturday, and if possible, maybe throwing one on a Monday. So thank you all so much for sticking in there with me, and give your loved ones an extra big hug and just enjoy being with them and being with your people that you love being with. So I will see you all soon. Take good care of yourself wherever it is you are in the world, and I will see you all soon. Bye, y'all.